You know what's really frustrating? Trying to budget when you've downloaded like three different budgeting apps, started a spreadsheet, told yourself you'll track every expense, and then by day five, you've already given up because it feels overwhelming and you're not even sure if you're doing it right. Like, you know, you should have a budget, but every method you try either feels too complicated or too restrictive or just doesn't work. Yeah, so I've been there. I tried to start a budget probably 15 times before one actually stuck. And the reason I kept failing wasn't because I was bad with money or lacked discipline. It was because I was trying to build this perfect, detailed budget right out of the gate, instead of starting with the basics and building up from there. I was setting myself up to fail before I even started. My name is Don, and I used to think budgeting meant tracking every single penny and never having any fun, when really it's just about knowing where your money goes and making intentional choices about how to spend it. And here's what I figured out. A budget that works isn't about restriction or perfection. It's about having a clear system that takes like 10 minutes a week to maintain and actually helps you reach your financial goals. Before we get into it, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button if you want to see more content about building wealth and making smarter money decisions. Trust me, the checklist I'm about to give you is the exact system that finally made budgeting click for me after years of failed attempts. And it'll work for you too if you follow it step by step. All right, let me start by explaining why most budgets fail and what actually makes a budget stick, why your previous budgets failed, and why this one won't. Here's the thing, nobody tells you about budgeting. The reason most budgets fail has nothing to do with willpower or discipline. It's because people start with methods that are way too complicated for beginners. You download one of those apps that wants you to categorize every single transaction into like 20 different categories. Groceries, dining out, entertainment, transportation, personal care, subscriptions, clothing, whatever. And for the first day or two, you're super motivated, so you do it. But then you buy gas and groceries in the same trip, and you can't remember which card you used, and you forget to log your coffee purchase, and suddenly you're 3 days behind on tracking. And you just give up. Or you try the envelope method where you put cash in different envelopes for different categories, but we live in 2026, and like 90% of purchases are digital, and you can't put digital money in a physical envelope. So that doesn't work either. Or you create this incredibly detailed spreadsheet with formulas and charts, and it's beautiful, but maintaining it takes an hour a week, and after a month, you're just done. Here's what actually works. A simple system that focuses on the big picture first, takes minimal time to maintain, and is flexible enough to adapt when life happens. You don't need to track every dollar. You need to track enough to make informed decisions and stay on top of your finances. When I finally created a budget that stuck, it wasn't because I became more disciplined. It's because I built a system that was so simple I couldn't fail at it. And that's what I'm going to show you how to build. The pre-budget checklist, what you need before you start. Week 1. Before you create your actual budget, you need to gather some information. This is like doing prep work before cooking. If you skip this step, your budget will be based on guesses instead of reality, and it won't work. Step 1. Calculate your actual monthly income. Not what you think you make, what actually hits your bank account. If you're salaried, this is easy. Just look at your last paycheck after taxes and multiply by however many paychecks you get per month. If your income varies, look at the last 3 months of bank deposits and average them. When I did this, I was surprised. I thought I was making about $3,200 per month take home. But when I actually looked at my deposits, it was more like $2,950 because I was forgetting about health insurance and 401k contributions. That $250 difference mattered for budgeting. Step 2. Pull up your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. You're going to use these to see where your money is actually going right now. Don't judge yourself, just observe. This isn't about shame, it's about data. Step 3. Make a list of all your fixed expenses. These are things that are the same amount every month and you can't easily change. Rent, car payment, insurance, loan payments, subscriptions, whatever. Write down each one and how much it costs. Step 4. Estimate your variable expenses. These are things that change month to month. Groceries, gas, eating out, entertainment, personal care, clothing, random purchases. For now, just estimate based on what you saw in your bank statements. And by the end of week 1, you should have a clear picture of your income and a rough idea of where your money is currently going. That's your starting point. The core budget framework, the 50-30-20 rule simplified, week 2. All right, now you're going to build your actual budget framework. I'm going to give you the simplest possible structure that actually works, which is a modified version of the 50-30-20 rule. Here's how it works. Your after-tax income gets split into 3 categories: needs, wants, and savings. Needs are about 50% of your income. This is rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, minimum debt payments. The stuff you absolutely have to pay to survive and function. Wants are about 30% of your income. This is eating out, entertainment, hobbies, shopping, subscriptions you don't technically need. Basically anything that makes life enjoyable but isn't essential. Savings and debt payoff is 20% of your income. This is your emergency fund, retirement contributions, extra debt payments beyond minimums, any financial goals. Now, these percentages are guidelines, not rules. If your rent is super high, your needs might be 60% and your wants might be 20%. That's fine. The point is to have a framework that shows you where your money should roughly go. When I first did this exercise, my breakdown was way off. I was spending like 55% on needs, 40% on wants, and 5% on savings. No wonder I wasn't building wealth. Just seeing those numbers made it obvious what needed to change. Take your monthly income and multiply it by 0.5, 0.3, and 0.2. Those are your target amounts for each category. Write them down. That's your budget framework. Setting up your actual budget categories, week 2 to 3. Okay, within your 3 main categories, you need some specific subcategories, but not too many. This is where people overcomplicate things. For needs, here are the only categories you need: housing, rent/mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, car payment, gas, insurance, minimum debt payments, and essential insurance. That's it. 6 categories max. For wants, keep it super simple: eating out and entertainment, shopping and personal, subscriptions and memberships. 3 categories, that's all you need. For savings, you need emergency fund, retirement, and debt payoff, beyond minimums if applicable. That's like 12 categories total, not 30, not 50. 12. And honestly, you could get away with even fewer if you wanted to keep it even simpler. Here's what my budget looked like when I first set it up. For needs, which was 50% of my income, or about $1,475, I had $900 going to rent, $120 to utilities, $280 for groceries, $100 for gas, and $75 for car insurance. For wants, which was 30% or $885, I budgeted $250 for eating out, $150 for entertainment and fun, $200 for shopping and random purchases, $85 for subscriptions, and I kept a $200 buffer for unexpected stuff. And for savings, which was 20% or $590, I put $300 toward my emergency fund, $250 into my Roth IRA, and $40 as an extra credit card payment. My total monthly income was $2,950. Was it perfect? No. But it was simple enough that I could actually stick to it, and that's what mattered. Choosing your tracking method. Week 3. Now you need to decide how you're going to track your budget. There are basically 3 methods that work for beginners. Method 1, the spreadsheet method. You create a simple Google Sheet or Excel file with your categories and amounts. Once a week, you check your bank accounts and update what you've spent in each category. Takes maybe 10 minutes per week. This is what I use. I have a super basic spreadsheet with my categories down the left side, my budget amount next to each one, and then I log what I've spent. At the end of the month, I can see if I stayed under budget in each category. That's it. Nothing fancy. Method 2, the app method. Apps like YNAB, Mint, or EveryDollar connect to your bank accounts and automatically categorize transactions. You just review them weekly and make sure everything is categorized correctly. This is good if you want more automation. Method 3, the bank account method. You set up multiple checking accounts, one for needs, one for wants, one for savings. When you get paid, you immediately split your paycheck into the 3 accounts based on your percentages. Then you spend from each account knowing you can't overspend because the money is physically separated. And I'd recommend starting with either the spreadsheet or app method. They're the most flexible and give you good visibility into your spending without requiring a bunch of different bank accounts. The key is to pick one method and commit to it for at least 3 months. Don't switch methods every 2 weeks. Give your system time to work. The weekly money meeting, ongoing. Here's the habit that makes or breaks your budget, the weekly money meeting. This is 10 minutes every week, same day, same time, where you review your finances. I do mine every Sunday morning with my coffee. I open my spreadsheet, check my bank accounts and credit cards, and update what I've spent in each category over the past week. I see what I have left in each category for the rest of the month. I make sure no surprise charges hit my accounts, and I'm done. 10 minutes. That's it. But this 10-minute weekly habit is what keeps me on track. Without it, I'd lose track of spending and blow my budget without realizing it until the end of the month. During your weekly meeting, you're checking 3 things. Did any unexpected expenses come up? Am I on track in each category, or do I need to adjust my spending for the rest of the month? Are there any upcoming bills I need to prepare for? If you're over budget in a category, you don't beat yourself up. You just acknowledge it and either cut back in that category for the rest of the month or borrow from another category. Flexibility is fine. The point is awareness. Adjusting your budget when life happens, month 2 to 3. Your first month of budgeting, you're going to get some things wrong. You'll underestimate how much you spend on groceries or forget about an annual subscription that renews or something. That's completely normal. At the end of month 1, you do a monthly review. Look at every category and see what was accurate and what wasn't. Did you budget $200 for groceries but actually spent $280? Okay, adjust your grocery budget to $280 for next month and reduce something else to compensate. Your budget is a living document. It should change as your life and spending patterns change. When I first started budgeting, my eating out budget was $250 per month because that's what I was spending. After a few months, I realized I could cut that to $150 without feeling deprived. So I adjusted my budget and redirected that $100 to savings. By month 3, your budget should be pretty dialed in. You'll know how much you typically spend in each category. You'll have a system for tracking that works for you, and you'll have the habit of weekly money meetings. The critical budget rules you must follow. Let me give you the non-negotiable rules that make a budget actually work. Rule 1. Pay yourself first. When you get paid, the first thing you do is transfer your savings amount to your savings account or investment account. Don't wait until the end of the month to see what's left over. There will never be anything left over. Savings comes first. Rule 2. Build in a buffer. Don't budget every single dollar down to zero. Keep $100 to $200 unallocated as a buffer for the random stuff that always comes up. This prevents you from blowing your budget when you forgot about your friend's birthday or need to buy a gift for something. Rule 3. Use credit cards strategically or not at all. If you can use credit cards responsibly and pay them off in full every month, great, the rewards are nice. If you can't, cut them up and use debit only. Your budget only works if you're not adding debt every month. Rule 4. Don't hide purchases from yourself. Everything goes in the budget, even that $4 coffee or $15 impulse buy. If you start making exceptions, the whole system breaks down. The budget isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Rule 5. Automate everything you can. Set up automatic transfers for savings, automatic payments for fixed bills, automatic investments for retirement. The less you have to manually do, the less you'll forget or procrastinate. Common budgeting mistakes that will derail you. Mistake 1. Making your budget too restrictive. If your budget doesn't include any fun money or flexibility, you'll rebel against it. You need to budget for enjoyment, not just survival. Mistake 2. Not budgeting for irregular expenses. Car registration, holiday gifts, annual subscriptions. These things are predictable but don't happen every month. You need to set aside money each month for them, or they'll blow your budget when they hit. Mistake 3. Giving up after one bad month. You will have months where unexpected stuff happens and you go over budget. That's not failure, that's life. Adjust and keep going. Mistake 4. Budgeting based on your ideal self instead of your actual self. Don't budget $100 for groceries when you know you spend $250. Budget for reality, then work on changing reality if you want to. Mistake 5. Not involving your partner if you share finances. If you're budgeting but your partner isn't, it won't work. You need to be on the same page about spending and financial goals. Mistake 6. Comparing your budget to other people's. Someone else's rent might be $600 while yours is $1,200. Someone else might spend $100 on groceries while you spend $300. That's fine. Your budget is personal to your life and location. The 30-day budget implementation checklist. Here's exactly what to do over the next 30 days to go from I should probably budget to I have a working budget system. Week 1. Gather your data. Calculate your actual monthly income. Review 3 months of bank statements. List all your fixed expenses and estimate your variable expenses. Week 2. Build your framework. Calculate your 50-30-20 targets. Create your specific budget categories. Set up your tracking system, whether that's a spreadsheet, app, or multiple accounts. Week 3, start tracking. Begin logging your expenses in your chosen system. Have your first weekly money meeting. Make your first pay yourself first savings transfer. Week 4, review and adjust. Do your first monthly review. See what budget categories were accurate and what needs adjusting. Refine your system based on what you learned. By the end of 30 days, you'll have a budget that actually works and a system for maintaining it that takes minimal time. What success actually looks like. Let me tell you what budgeting success looks like, because it's probably not what you think. Success isn't never going over budget in any category. Success is knowing where your money goes and making intentional choices about your spending. Success is not being surprised by your bank account balance. Success is making progress towards your financial goals while still enjoying your life. After I'd been budgeting for about 6 months, I remember looking at my bank account and actually knowing exactly how much money I had available to spend. Before budgeting, I'd check my balance and think, okay, I have $1,200, but I think I have bills coming up. And I'm not sure if that charge from Amazon went through yet, so I probably have like $400? Maybe? It was just constant uncertainty. With a budget, I knew exactly where I stood. I knew I had $150 left in my eating out budget, $300 in my emergency fund that month, and $75 left in my shopping category. That clarity is what budgeting gives you. Look, creating a budget as a beginner in 2026 doesn't have to be complicated or restrictive or perfect. You don't need fancy software or a finance degree or to track every single penny. You need a simple framework, a tracking system that takes 10 minutes a week, and the discipline to check in regularly. Your budget is the foundation of every other financial goal you have. You can't save effectively without knowing where your money goes. You can't invest consistently without a plan for your income. You can't pay off debt strategically without tracking your spending. Everything starts with the budget. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And drop a comment telling me what your biggest budgeting challenge is, or if you're ready to finally create a budget that sticks. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and remember, a budget isn't about restriction, it's about intention. It's about making your money do what you want it to do instead of wondering where it all went. Start week 1 today. I'll see you in the next one.